So one Twitter account that I follow just posted this question: what's the scariest movie you've ever seen? Like something that truly shook you. And I thought of something that shook me earlier this year, which was the Blair Witch Project. So flashback to a few months ago when I watched this movie for the first time. It's actually been in like my to watch pile for a long time. I have the Blu-ray right here, and I finally put it in after procrastinating for so long because I read this book, or I should say I listened to an audiobook of it. It was called 1999, The Best Movie Year Ever. Or maybe it was Best Movie Year Ever, 1999, how it like changed cinema. Really great book, especially if you love movies and movie making and like behind the scenes stories and like the whole process of that. 1999 was a fantastic year for film, and I cannot recommend that book enough. It's so good. But anyway, one of the chapters obviously was on the Blair Witch Project. And I got fascinated with how they made this movie because it was such a unique way of making a film. And I don't think it could be done today, especially with the way they marketed it. You know, it was when the internet was kind of just early on the rise. And when this movie came out, people thought it was real. And I look back on that and I could see why. And I just thought that whole idea about the making of it and the production and the post-production was so interesting. It was so well explained in the book. I was like, okay, I got to watch this movie to see what all the hype is about. So I grabbed my Blu-ray, and as you can see, this version actually has the Blair Witch Project and the 2016 sequel, Blair Witch, in it in a 2-pack. And I actually put in the Blair Witch Project Blu-ray, and I turned it on, and it started out kind of weird. Everything looked kind of new and not like 1999. Turns out they switched around the Blu-rays. The Blair Witch Project was on the Blair Witch 2016 Blu-ray, and Blair Witch 2016 was on the Blair Witch Project Blu-ray. I never had that happen before, but I didn't get too far into the Blair Witch movie before I realized something was wrong, so I switched them around. And this was all at like midnight when I decided to watch the Blair Witch Project for the first time. Probably not the best decision, but my thinking was, you know, it's been like 25 years. This movie's probably kind of dated. Boy, was I wrong. It freaked me out, guys. This movie is like as good as those found footage movies get. I know this movie kind of brought found footage to a prominent point, and there's a reason why. I think it was just like the perfect storm of a movie. The way it was made, the time it came out, and it just feels so real when you watch it. And part of the reason is because, you know, the people filming it, they are kind of like amateurs, you know, since they're just actors who were basically given a camera. I mean, they do a good job with it, too. They make it creepy and spooky, but it's kind of amazing how well it turned out for them just like running with it. And I love this movie does such a good job of not showing you everything. You'll hear stuff around you, and the characters will say things, and it makes you freak out because you can't see exactly what's going on the whole time, but that's part of the beauty of it. That's what makes it so flippin' scary. And to make things even scarier, I live near the woods, so that doesn't help when I'm going outside at night. But yeah, this movie, it totally holds up, and I loved it so much, I decided to watch the 2016 Blair Witch Blu-ray after I saw this one the next day, and that one was okay. It wasn't quite as good as this one. It kind of lost a lot of the realness this one had, I think, if that makes sense. Like in the first 5 minutes of that movie, you could tell, oh, they're not doing the same thing as the old one. This doesn't quite as feel authentic, but I mean, it makes sense. It was made a long time later. But yeah, this movie holds up. It's definitely one of the scariest movies I think I've ever seen. It's very effective, and I really, really dug it.